So Blizzard has recently made an announcement that they have taken down 74,000 bots in NA, EU, and Oceania. So let's go over this kind of dialogue between Blizzard and the community and see what's going on here. So, as Kaivax has stated here, we've recently completed a round of actions against players who were found to be cheating in World of Warcraft. We rarely communicate publicly about this because we found that describing our sources and methods can make it easier for malicious actors to work around them. But we feel that it's worthwhile to expand on the subject today, as many players have recently asked us for more details. Hey, this is good. This is what we want as a community. We just want some kind of dialogue, some kind of communication because, oftentimes Blizzard, they've kind of just been, they've just been in the background, not really publicly saying anything. And the community, we just want to know what's going on. That's all we really want. And as you'll see in a lot of developers nowadays, they openly have discussions with their community. So moving on, including today's actions over the last month in the Americas, Oceania, and Europe regions, we've closed or suspended over 74,000 WoW accounts that were found to be in violation of our end user license agreement. The majority of these were found to be using gameplay automation tools, typically to farm resources or kill enemies much more efficiently than legitimate players can. So obviously, things like the Stratholme Righteous Orb farming, or I'm sure the Zul'Gurub no clip mage is included in this. While today's suspensions were applied in a batch, often referred to as a ban wave, it is a top priority for us to identify accounts that are botting and remove them. Our team works around the clock every day of the week, and many of the suspensions and account closures over the last few months have gone out in the middle of the night or on weekends. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that. So Kaivax continues, and he says, like you, we play World of Warcraft. We understand what it's like to spot a player in-game who appears to be botting. We always want to eliminate the botting player, if it can be proved that they are indeed cheating. And that raises a big difficulty in addressing this issue. We have to prove to ourselves that the accused player is not a person who's actually controlling a character with their hands on a keyboard. Now, I get that. I completely understand that. I understand this is not an easy problem to solve, right? And, well, you know what? That's good that they're actual players. I'd imagine that a lot of the developers, a lot of the community, they played this game. So that's good to hear that they understand where the community is coming from. We use powerful systems to determine if the suspected player is using an identifiable cheat. And our heuristics, I like that word, which we do not outline publicly, are constantly improving and evolving. But when we examine a suspect and these measurements aren't out of line, we have to manually gather evidence against the accused player, which can be very time-consuming and complex. It's worthwhile, though, because we never want to take action against a legitimate player. Now, yeah, I agree with that. Like, you don't want anyone to be falsely reported. Some players, they don't necessarily interact. They might be, not really good at English. So he continues, yes, there have been cases where a legitimate player appeared to another player to be botting. In those cases where a legitimate player is reported and then cleared of wrongdoing, it can be very frustrating to the reporting player to again see what they think is a bot. We've also seen examples where the reported player was caught exploiting the game and was removed from the game and then quickly returned to doing the same thing on a new account with the same character and name. That's an infuriating sight for the players who initially reported this. We greatly appreciate your reports and we understand how you feel about this. Now, I wonder how often that situation happens where they come back with the exact same name. I don't know how common that is, but you know what? That's what they're stating here. Now let's see where he closes with this. We're ultimately working to unravel a challenging circumstance, and yeah, that's true. It is a challenging problem. Real money trading drives third parties to put an enormous amount of effort into circumventing our detection systems. As much as this is a very high priority for us, it is the only priority for profit-driven botting organizations. True, yep. The bans we issue are simply a cost of doing business for them. That is very true. They just take it off their bottom line. We're working on further improvements to every part of the game and that might address cheating issues more swiftly and completely, and we'll continue to let you know as those next steps are taken. Thank you very much for your feedback on these issues, and thank you for your reports. Hey, good job, community. Well done. I mean, a lot of people have been making posts on Reddit, making posts here on the general forums. There's a lot of different feedback from various outlets. A lot of people are making videos, and you know what? We got to applaud Blizzard for actually being more or less swift in taking action. They saw all the people complaining, and you know what? We got to give Blizzard applause now. Let's give them a small, golf clap, and let's hope that they continue the battle against the bots because they are a real issue. Now, let's see what some people are saying in this post. So this one has 48 likes. He's quoting the challenging circumstance of profit-driven botting organizations. Yeah. So he says, Matukas here says, very true, and we appreciate the effort that you're putting into thwarting the efforts of people who make this game worse for all of us. I do hope you have heard the community's feedback on why we believe the cap of 30 resets per day on instances to be of little use in combating the botters. I also hope you have heard this the sometimes reasonable discussion around why we believe this change to be harmful to players in several regards. Keep up the work. And as you can see here, it's a druid. And like I said before in my last video, druids are severely impacted here because they farm manual crowd pummelers. And say what you will about feral druids, there's not a lot of them. But those feral druids, they do have to work harder than other classes because the manual crowd pummeler, obviously with its on-use effect, it has no cooldown, so you can just crank them out. And I believe they use about 2 to 3 charges per boss if you're really tryharding. So these guys, and also manual crowd pummelers aren't 100% drop rate, so they have to continually farm, put in that effort. And you know what? I'm going to give props to the feral druid because they do have to put in more work because they really enjoy that class of power shifting, hopping out of cat form, hopping back in to get that energy gain. So, you know what? Yeah, I do agree that I don't like the 30 resets per day here, but when he says that the 30 resets per day on instances to be of little use in combating botters, I might have to disagree with him here because we don't know what kind of systems, what kind of coding Blizzard has implemented in their new release of the 30 cap limit, right? Because let's say here, if you're a bot and you hit your 6-hour limit, right? And you have some kind of script where it detects that, hey, I can't jump in an instance anymore. I'm hopping out. I'm going to log off, hop onto another realm. Now, when this first hop off happens, this could be a normal player playing that 6 hours, and they just hop on another server where they have an alt or whatever, and that could be a legitimate case, right? However, once you hit your 12-hour mark and your 18-hour mark, this could be a little bit more suspicious. They're saying, whoa, this guy hopped on to another realm after 6 hours, and then on that other realm, he does another 6-hour lockout. That could potentially raise a red flag. So I don't know about that. This might be some kind of, because like we said, Blizzard, they're not going to be open in revealing their tactics, right? So maybe this 30 reset cap, whether we like it or not, maybe there is another layer of detection, another layer to determining bot behavior, because once they hit that second realm, and then the third realm, and then obviously the fourth realm has to be the instant ban. I mean, come on, once you hit 24 hours on 4 realms, that's obviously a bot because normal people have to sleep. So, you know what? I'm going to have to disagree here. I think potentially, I'm not 100% sure because Blizzard hasn't made it known, they might have another detection system. So let's see what other likes. This one has 90. Remove the instance lockout. Stop hurting the legit players. Again, we don't know exactly. Wait, how does this guy have? This guy must be retail. This guy has Dreamwalker gear. What the heck? That's pretty tight. If he leveled on retail a 60 druid and he has the... Alright, anyways, I digress. But yeah, that's true. Legitimate players are hurt. However, I think, for the most majority of players, it's not affecting them. This is only affecting 1% of the player base. Yeah, even your average players on their days off, yes, true. They can hit that 6-hour lockout. However, is it really that big of a deal? It is to some classes like the Feral Druids. I understand that. For the hardcore players especially. But we don't know what kind of detection, what kind of coding that Blizzard has implemented once you hit your 6-hour lockout, and if you're an account that switches realms, we don't know yet. And they're obviously going to keep that under wraps because they don't want the enemy, the botters, the bot farms to have that under their belt that, hey, you know what, maybe they have a cooldown or something where they don't instantly hop onto another server, onto another realm. So I'm gonna hold off on on saying that it's a completely bad idea. There might be some another layer of protection here. This, knock it off. It sends the message that you don't care about the hardcore players, and it is a clear nerf to bear tanks. Yeah, that's true with Numbergon pummelers. So yeah, let's hop onto Reddit and see what they're saying. All right, so here on Reddit, it's obviously all about the bots. The 4-day chat is talking about botting, gold selling. I actually really like this post right here. This entire sub after after the 74,000 bot ban. That is very true. Yeah, I mean, we got to give Blizzard a round of applause for actually taking relatively swift action. And here's the comments about the over 1,000 comments on the 74,000 accounts suspended. Jesus, 74,000 bots. Yep. And hard to tell if this is a lot in the grand scheme of things. However, if you do the /who strat home, install 0 guildless mages and druids. Good. Mardon empty. Of course, it only takes them another 6 months before they do this again because, you know, Blizzard more or less, they do them in kind of spurts. I guess they got to gather the evidence and what have you. But yeah, bot farms, they can just get their army back up. But yeah, we do got to give Blizzard some credit here. We can safely say that 74,000 accounts is a lot. That's nothing to scoff at, guys. That's a legitimate number of bots that they've taken out. And yeah, they just banned $1.1 million per month in bot subscriptions. So I expect this will result in layering ending in the next couple of weeks. On another note, buy Righteous Orbs now. That is true. I believe they jumped up on my server as well, up to 50 to 60 G. Now they're up. That's crazy. That is legitimately crazy. So yeah, some of these guys are doing some quick flips. Dang, this guy, yeah, this guy knows what's up. Even if Blizzard has been really slow and quite frankly stupid about this issue up until now, it's nice they're finally doing something about it. This is true, guys. Like we gotta applaud Blizzard here. You do not do this kind of things overnight. This has been planned for weeks and weeks. That's very true. Chances are Blizzard has been, you know, scheming this for a while, and then all of a sudden when the community is kind of really putting a spotlight here, they were kind of forced to take relatively quick action and initiate the the ban wave. So it gets messed up in the meantime. You know, the fact that it takes weeks and weeks, again, they got to gather the evidence. You know, that it's not an easy issue to solve. So I do think that, you know, you are innocent until proven guilty, right? So I don't think they should necessarily immediately get all of the reports, say, you know, a ton of reports for one player comes in. They got to actually, you know, take the time and perhaps probe a little bit further rather than immediately within 24 hours ban that person. Because what if that person was legitimately just didn't speak good English or whatever? So, you know, asking them questions, thinking that they're a bot when they don't respond, it's a tricky situation. It's a very tricky situation. Small waves would let us avoid later waves. It should be a minimum of a month. That's what basically every game developer conference talk on cheat detection say. It shouldn't be longer than that, otherwise it causes way too much damage. That's true. It does impact the economy. I'm glad they are starting to talk, and I'm glad they are banning bots, but China banned over 100,000 bots, yep. But ignoring the number, they respond weekly with reports. This is the first in what? I have no idea the last time Blizzard gave us ban numbers. True, yeah, but at least they're making a step forward in this and saying that they're openly engaging in how many bots they're banning. So, yeah, this is quite a long post. Let's see what else other people have to say. Let's hoping that doesn't give botters months to spin up new accounts. True. Hopefully this is not a 6-month ban wave thing. Hopefully it's like 1 to 2 months, ideally, where they can get that evidence. Please keep reporting bots. Was actually working. Yeah. So I've actually been reporting bots myself, and I'll show you here in Fairless. There's still hunter bots, and you just got to manually report them, I guess. It's kind of like the Starship Troopers. Like, I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
So yeah, that's what Reddit is saying. Alright, so here we're just doing a /who in Fairless to see if there's any ungilded hunters. Try and determine if there's any bots. And as you can see here, there's a few suspects with kind of gibberish names. Let's see here. Let's see if we can go out and hunt them in a second here. But yeah, I mean, the numbers definitely have been reduced. But let's see their behavior here. And as you can see here, clearly a Chinese pet and automated behavior. Both of these hunters are not in the same party, so one of them gets the tag, another one is just overlapping their routes and not gaining any XP. So clearly both of these are bots doing automated behavior with their Chinese pets, Chinese named pets. And yeah, just gotta do our parts and manually report these bots because apparently that's gonna help out. So there you go, just gotta do our part.